Copper golems have just been added to Minecraft, so in this video I'm going to create a super aesthetic copper golem factory. Welcome back to Real Hardcore Minecraft. Previously we worked on this market area and expanded it, and I think it's turned out very nicely. But now we need to move over to this area in here where I'm going to build once again another awesome building using a few techniques that we learned when we built up these buildings here. Now the very first thing I need to do is plan out the area, and I have a rough idea in mind. What I want to do in here is kind of create some kind of building here connected by like a semi-shed thing to another building, and then having some storage in between underneath that shed thing. Now, I know that probably doesn't make much sense, so let's go ahead and grab some blocks so we can start shaping it out. Now, I think once again, I'm going to use cobblestone just so I can get a good idea for exactly how I want this thing to look. So let me grab up some cobblestone. Now, this building is going to be extremely important and lead on to the next project, which is going to be an absolute game changer. But of course, we need to do this part first. So what is it that we're actually building here? Well, we're going to be building a copper processing unit, or factory, I guess. I don't know what to really call it, but it's going to be the place where we can kind of store our copper and have a functional area just for our, copper things. And since the brand new update has put us into the copper age, I think it makes a lot of sense to finally enter in our world. So of course, the very first thing I need to do is kind of plan out this area, and I'm going to dig the cobblestone into the ground because I don't want to use the cobblestone as the foundation. Now I think without a doubt, we're going to just start in the corner and kind of create some like slightly angled wall here. And to be honest, I think we're going to make this a pretty long wall, but we're going to kind of have it deviate backwards every 3 blocks, kind of like we did up here. This was a very nice build, so I want to try and use the intricacies and try something similar, but also adopt in some of the principles we've used in our other builds. I guess to try and make the builds in this world feel a little bit more cohesive, so there's not 2 completely different styles, but there's, one style and another style, plus some that are kind of a bit of both. So it kind of makes it seem a little bit better, I think. At least I'm hoping we can accomplish something like that. So I'm going to go with 5 little sections like this. I reckon that will be a pretty big building. That's what, 15 blocks wide. But I think if we kind of cut it in half on the second level, so only have like a second level from here to the right, I think that could be pretty nice. Or even from here to the left. We'll have to see how we kind of come together with that. Now I think we'll probably let's go 8 blocks to make this 9 blocks in total. And then I reckon we just, mirror exactly what we've done on the back wall there, just for this little section here. I think that'll be pretty nice. And I mean, we kind of have to try and keep it similar because, it's going to be a square. If we don't do a square, I have no idea how I'm going to do the roof. I think I need a little bit more practice before we do anything like that, where the back wall and the front wall is different. I don't think I'm ready for that just yet, because keep in mind, we do everything in survival, no creative planning at all. Now for the other building, I reckon we kind of have it meet somewhere in the middle, which would be like roughly here maybe. Or no, maybe here. That will be more like the middle, right? Then let's go 7. So there's like a decent space in between, so 3, 4, 7 like that, right? This gap in between here doesn't seem to be too great. Let's just see what we can kind of come up with. Like if we have this building meet in the middle here, but then go that way, maybe that would kind of work. To keep the building slightly different, what I think I'm going to do is make the faces 5 blocks. So this will be 5 blocks and it's going to go forward, then 5 blocks again, then once again 5 blocks. I think that should be pretty good, right? Then we'll have this one kind of come pretty close to here. I don't want to hit it though. That's as wide as we can go. So let's just start kind of moving forward. How much is this? This is only 4 blocks. What have I done wrong? Oh my days. Okay, let's just move this line over by 1, because otherwise this is going to be an even number. So obviously if we don't, it'll be 8 blocks, but if we move over 1, it's going to be 7 blocks. I think that's going to work better, and I think that's kind of what I thought anyway. That's why this is 4 blocks, then it's 5 blocks. So I messed that up a little bit, I think, but that should work. And then we can just go 5 blocks each time, right? And then just connect this together exactly like this. Beautiful. So these are going to be the 2 kind of main buildings. Now we need to connect them together and add little extra bits kind of hanging off, just to make the building seem so much bigger. And I guess it's going to make it easy to break it up. So let's not use cobblestone for that. Let's grab some stone just so that we can differentiate between the two different things. So obviously we're going to have the main building and then we're going to have little extra bits kind of sticking out a little bit. And I want this to kind of be like a U shape. So let's go over to this corner first and let's just literally kind of go almost up to the wall just so we have a little bit of space, but it fills in the entire area nicely. Then we're just going to go a couple blocks. Let's see, is that an even number or odd? Okay, so that's 11 blocks, which is good. We want the odd number. We don't want even. And then we'll make sure this is an odd number too. So that would mean we have to go here. But that should be okay. So they can kind of join together here nicely. Maybe we could create like a door here. And we'll just have this one nice and flat because, I mean, if these are angled, we don't really need to have everything angled. So that'll just make this very easy to kind of create, I guess. And then for this one, maybe we'll just connect this a little bit forward like this. Oh my days, think that could work. And then I guess we'll do the exact same thing at the back. So this one overlaps on this building at the front and then it'll overlap at this building at the back, and then that'll also make it an even number, right? Yeah, 7 blocks in between. Beautiful. See, that is what we need, ladies and gentlemen. Now we've got a big one over there. Like, this is huge, so I think we're gonna go 2 blocks smaller on both sides. So because of how close we are to the edge, I think I should just make it in line. So let's go 3, 3, and then 3. So it's 2 less than that, because over there that's 11 blocks long, so then that should match, right? Then we'll just make this, 5 blocks wide, just like that, and then we'll just connect this right up here. So I guess that kind of works here. So then we've got kind of like a shape like this. I don't quite know how that's gonna look all together, but it's kind of giving me similar vibes to up here, which is good. Oh my days. So the idea in the shape is very similar to the brand new kind of building technique that we've used before, which is good. I did want to incorporate that somehow into this build, and I think we're going to do a very similar thing with the walls. We're just going to kind of create some walls like this and texture them, and then we can add the details in just like we've done over here. I think that'll be cool, but I want to try using a roof like this. We've got trims. I think if we do that with this kind of building, that could be really, really cool. But I guess for now, the best thing for me to do is kind of build these walls up. I'm thinking of going for like a stone and maybe some kind of wood for the shed bits. I think that'll be nice. And then for the top bit, look, right now, I'm not 100% sure what I want to do. I've been using acacia in my SMP playthrough where I'm being, the best farmer on the server. So I kind of want to incorporate a bit of acacia. I've been kind of enjoying using some blocks I don't usually use. So let's go ahead and get some of that too. We'll throw that into this building somehow. So let's go ahead and get that sorted out right now. And ladies and gentlemen, this is kind of what I've got. I think this is looking really, really nice. So obviously I got a bit carried away and I did the trims of the roofs because while I was building the walls, I had a lot of ideas coming to my mind. So I wanted to make sure that I did it before I forgot. So this is kind of what we got. And what I want to do is fill in the kind of rest of the roof using both jungle and oak. And thankfully we already have some jungle logs and some oak, a little bit more jungle than oak, but hopefully we can kind of make do with what we got. There's plenty of both of those logs around, so we shouldn't have any issues with that though. Obviously you can see I went to a mesa biome to collect some terracotta. I thought that would work well with the acacia and I think it's turned out okay. You can kind of see way in the distance, that massive mountain right there is kind of where it was, so I didn't really have to look, I just had to fly over there. Massive shout out to Distant Horizons for that. Absolute game changer that mod is. But I'm going to go ahead and turn a bunch of logs into, I don't think I need many slabs, so I think I'm going to start with like this much. I have no idea how much I need, so I'm just going to do a little bit of both just so I don't overmake it. I think I might have actually already overmade it, but we'll see. So let me fill it all in. It shouldn't be too difficult, and then we'll see what it's kind of looking like then. And just like that, we've got an actual roof on all of this building. And I think it really shapes it up nicely. Now, next thing I want to do is go ahead and create some kind of barrier just around to separate this from kind of the rest of the area. So this isn't actually going to be what the wall looks like. I'm just trying to figure out roughly whereabouts I want it to be, and I think I might curve this just so it kind of matches up perfectly with the corner here, and then into the mountain there. Or maybe we'll go here. I think that should be pretty good. Now the next thing I want to do is completely change the grass area, and that includes adding in some kind of entryway as well as a bunch of roads that kind of lead into these buildings here. Before we can do that though, we need to figure out where the entrances will be. So of course I'm just going to rip some holes into each of these buildings and kind of get an idea of how I kind of want this building to start shaping up. Now of course, now that we've got the roof and the walls done, once we have these kind of doors in, then we can really start to decorate the area. So I'm just going to rip a 3x3 hole in here, and I'm also going to do the same thing here. There's going to be a 3-block gap here, which we should be able to get looking okay, but that's going to kind of be it for that side. I do need to fix up this though. Hold on a minute. Boom, and then one up here. Boom. And same thing back here. We need to make sure we fill in any of these gaps. Now I'm going to do the same thing on this one over here, except it is a little bit smaller. So I think there's just going to be a 1-block gap, because otherwise if we just create a hole here, that's going to be a little bit strange. Or hold on, maybe that might work. Let's try that. So let's just rip a hole right in the middle here. Or maybe we'll make this 5 blocks wide. That could work even better too. Oh my days, zombies just coming out of nowhere, brother. So something like that, like it's a very big kind of entrance. It does look a little bit weird with this. Maybe I can change this to match this building here. Maybe that'll be better. Kind of like that. I think that makes a bit more sense, and I think it looks okay. Now let's fill that gap in, and there should be a gap right here too. Boom. Beautiful. And we'll get some stairs on the corners too. My inventory is not the best right now. It is full of a bunch of random stuff. But there we go. That's that one. That's a nice little kind of 5-block wide. So we can have some bigger storage in here. But over there, maybe that's kind of where we might put like trailers or something. But over there we can put like storage of actual copper blocks, of course, because this is a copper processing area. Now for this one, the only option really is to stick some holes right in here, because I want this to kind of be a walk through thingy-majiggy. So I'm gonna stick holes like this, and then I'm gonna make the exact holes right on the other side so you can walk right through. Maybe we can have some like burner things out here. I think that could be kind of cool. But of course, once again, I need to get some stairs. Gonna need 8, so we'll make enough. Boom. Okay, let's just chuck these cheeky buggers in right here, and then that's gonna be this one as well. Now I think for this one I'm gonna put the entrance right here. So this is gonna be an entrance into this building, and then I guess for this one I kind of want to like rip a hole like this big. Oh my days. Hello, Mr. Enderman. Oh, and zombie. Oh my days. Yep, you can go do whatever it is you're doing, but I'm thinking that something like this is going to be pretty nice. Maybe we can like open this whole thing up and kind of have like a thingy-majiggy in here, like another wall maybe. I have no idea. We'll get to that later. The main priority right now is trying to figure out exactly how this area is going to be shaping up with the floor. And honestly, now that we have all these doors in, I feel like this is definitely enough. I don't see any need for any more. So we can go ahead and start working on the floor. And I have an idea for the floor that I want to use. My storage situation though is absolutely dreadful, but what is new? I guess that's just what I have to deal with. I literally have no space for anything else. I'm gonna just drop this poppy and apple. I don't really need them, but like I was saying, for the floor I have an idea that I want to try out, but it's gonna require me to get some more blocks. So let's fly over there and hope that we have enough rockets, because I've only got 39 left, and this is kind of all I've got left. I already raided my chest to get more when we went over to the terracotta area, but you can see right where my crosshair is there, that sand is exactly where the biome is that we require. So I guess let's hope we can fly there. Maybe I'll get another 2 rockets and I should be able to fly all the way there. Distant horizons makes it super simple to kind of traverse the world. You can see so far. It is amazing. That desert over there is thousands of blocks away, and we're just gonna slowly glide over there. And here we are now. Coral is exactly what I'm looking for. Now, I have used this on my server while building some dungeons, and I wanted to try it out in my survival world. And I think this area we're building is going to be a very nice opportunity for that. So I guess I'm just going to collect like an entire inventory of this coral. I'm not going to worry about collecting the fans. I don't really need them, and I feel like that's just going to waste space. But I certainly need all of these blocks, so I'm going to take every single one that I can. Oh, we got a map. Okay, don't need that. This is probably going to take some time, so I guess hopefully a time lapse looks good. If not, I'll see you back at the base. And we are back right at the base with a bunch of different coral blocks. It's definitely going to be more than enough to complete this kind of build and hopefully into the next build as well. So the very first thing that I need to do is figure out where this is going to go, and let's just assume that I'm going to have the entrance kind of, no, maybe in the middle, like right here. So let's just chop this and then dig out a little path for it to follow. And I guess it makes sense for the coral blocks to flow all the way through. Now let me show you, if you haven't seen this before, this is a very nice kind of block to use, which is similar to stone, except very, very different because you have 5 different variants. So when you place it in, obviously it's going to dehydrate just like that, and it's going to have a very cool texture, and you can see the color is very close to stone. But if I place all of these in, you can see we get some very unique textures in here. So it's going to make texture in this area extremely easy. So honestly, I think all I have to do is just go through and place a block and go through my inventory each time, just like this. And that's going to give us a very kind of exquisite look here. As you can see, it is very different from just boring stone. It looks very nice, and I'm excited to see it kind of in play for the first time in this world. Fingers crossed I've got enough. I'm sure I do, but you never know. I have no idea how many blocks I actually need. So the very first thing I'm going to do is literally just dig out where I want these paths to go. I feel like that's definitely going to be the easiest thing to do. And of course, first things first, I feel like we should just head straight up to the main building. This should be a kind of wide road because this is going to be where a lot of people are going to be going, maybe with carts as well. So we really want to make sure that this is a significant kind of road and it's large enough to support all of the traffic through here, and of course right up into this section just here. I feel like behind here is going to be like an important area. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be doing. All I know is it's going to be important. I have a feeling I should also turn all of this to coral as well, since this is technically outside, I guess. Is it outside? I don't know. There's going to be a roof, but I mean, it's not really part of a building, so I don't know. But I'm still going to put the path through there, and I'm sure we're going to expand it out this way as well once we get to that, of course. But then it should expand over to this one here, and why not kind of stretch it slightly into there. I think I'm going to use some dirt and coarse dirt for the rest of that space, but I think we should do the same thing over here. Just kind of dig this into here a little bit, ever so slightly, and this one of course as well. And we need a way to get into this building, so we'll dig out a little path, and then same thing over here. This is going to be a bit of a bigger one, so we'll make sure this is a little bit more significant, and then we're going to fatten this up a little bit. And I do want this to loop back around, kind of like a circle. Not sure what I'm going to fill the middle bit with, but we'll figure that out a bit later. That's not really important right now. The important thing is getting kind of the rest of this area figured out. Now that we've dug this out a little bit more, I think we're just about ready to have a look at what we've kind of created just by digging. I have a feeling this is going to be pretty good. So let's zoom out, and yeah, that's a very significant road stretching all the way through. I'm sure we can adjust it as we add more things in, and no idea what we're going to put in the middle. Maybe we can put some kind of symbol that could signify that this is a copper area. Maybe I can try and build like a copper ingot. I have no idea how I'm going to do that, but we'll figure that part out. So now all that's really left to do is go ahead and add in all of these coral blocks throughout where we've dug out, and then also add in the coarse dirt, which I'm sure I've got plenty of at my base, and if not, I've got a bunch of gravel and dirt, so I can easily make some. I might use some brown concrete powder as well, but definitely coarse dirt and regular dirt. Maybe some rooted dirt if I have enough. But honestly, once we have that stuff kind of in and this grass block is no longer such a massive eyesore, I really think this entire area is going to really start popping. And we haven't even done anything to the buildings. The buildings are still very, very bare. So I'm very excited to see what we can kind of come up with. So let's go ahead and get that done right now. And ladies and gentlemen, what an absolutely monumental change. I mean, this place just looks completely different with that little bit of detail just in the floor. Of course, I added in a couple stone buttons just to add a little bit of extra depth. And I think overall this is a very nice look. I feel like these copper zombies are like extremely common. I see so many of them since the update. That is crazy. But anyway, now it is the most important part, adding in the windows and the details to these buildings. That is what's going to really change it and make this build look a lot closer to being complete. First things first, I need to grab some scaffolding just so I can reach up to the top, because right now I'm a little too short, but thankfully I got plenty. So let's head back and figure out where these windows should be. Now of course there's no more lights in the area because I changed all the floor, so we got a couple monsters to deal with, but that should be nice and easy. Anyway, like I was saying, it's time to go ahead and chuck in the little holes to figure out exactly where I want these windows. Oh, there's a skeleton inside. Oh my days. Now I think of course just a very simple kind of 2-block window in here is going to be perfect. And for the top one, I think, oh my days, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Anyway, as I was saying, for the top bit, I think I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing here. Once again, just 2 blocks high. I'm not quite sure if I should have these come down 1 block, but I'm sure we're going to be able to figure that out very soon. I feel like it definitely should, to be honest with you. So let me quickly do that. There we go. To me, that's looking a lot better. And honestly, for the sake of simplicity for now, I think I just do 1 window here, or maybe right in the middle, and then 2 windows there. I think that'll be nice. So 1 right in the middle, and then 2 windows just right here. So now this build has plans for windows. And I mean, there's no real details in there just yet, but I think it already looks a lot closer to being done. Now, as always, my inventory is once again an issue, so let me go ahead and empty that just over in this little chest monster right here, which is basically full now, which is a very big problem. And I want to grab up some birch log. Thankfully there's some not too far from here, just in this little forest here. Well, what's remaining of this forest, of course. I think I'll grab roughly a stack. That's going to be quite a few trees, but I mean, there's still going to be a few, and I'm pretty sure I have birch saplings anyway. And I mean, I guess this forest needs to go eventually, but this should be good for now. There we go, a perfect stack on my days. Now we can get out of here. Now, what exactly do I need these birch logs for? Well, that is to create some birch trapdoors. I think this is going to look very nice and kind of be a nice little contrast between these colors, because this is orange. I wanted to use copper, but I thought that might be a little bit too similar, especially up top. So I want to use some birch in here and see kind of how that looks. I don't think we've used birch trapdoors for any windows before, so I think this could be very nice. Now of course that does look very strange, and I'll show you exactly why. So what we need to do is take this block at the bottom and turn it into a stair block. That's going to give a little bit more depth to the window, and you can see such a massive difference with just that tiny change. It is absolutely remarkable how a small change like that can really change the face of a building. So if you guys are learning to build, it's little things like that that are really going to change your build. Like, that is such a tiny change. You can see, I mean, it's a quarter of a block. But have a look at this one and then compare it to this one over here. Like, this just looks so boring compared to this, which just has a stair underneath the window. Such a tiny change, but it has such a huge impact. But don't worry, that's not the only thing I'm going to be showing you. I'm going to show you how to make these buildings look absolutely phenomenal. So of course, the first change is that. Make sure to also do it for the doors, because it just really shapes it up. I feel like I should also use birch for the doors. I guess that makes sense because the windows are birch, so I kind of want to keep it consistent. So let's just chuck one of them in there with a stair, and once again, just looks very nice with that little stair above. So you've got the birch trapdoors in. Now what? Well, the next thing you can do is grab yourself a different type of trapdoor. I'm going to be using acacia for this one, at least on the bottom floor, and you can place them to the sides of the windows, and this is going to kind of look like a shutter. Now, because of the orientation of this, is that going to look better, or is that going to look better? I think I prefer this one, to be honest with you. Or maybe, no, I think I prefer this one. Okay, so we're going to change this, but I'm going to show you one more thing you can do with these. So you can go ahead and place 2 blocks, can be any block beside, and then place these shutters just here, and then open them both up, and then just remove these 2 blocks so it looks like it's kind of half open. Now, another thing you can do with these is just place them right on top, just like that, so it looks like the shutter is completely closed. But just mess around with it until you find something you like. The next thing is barrels. Barrels is an easy way to kind of just add a little bit of detail in and around a build. So just a couple barrels around. It does make sense in this area because this is going to be a kind of industrial area, I guess. So there's going to be a lot of stuff around. The best thing to pair with barrels is of course spruce slabs or trapdoors because they look very similar. So you can kind of make them a little bit different in shape just by adding some slabs around just like this. Don't need to go too crazy on that, but the next thing we need to do is add some color. So let me grab some bone meal and head up to my flower farm, which is conveniently very close, just right here. I think we're going to go with the peonies or the peonies. I'll grab a couple of them and we'll just head back in here and we can place them kind of just around the edge, just to make it look a little bit more colorful because it is very dull and boring right now. Leaves is another fantastic way to kind of add in a little bit of color. The green really stands out, especially in front of the stone. You can place them kind of wherever you want, just to make it look like there's a little bit of growth around. Adds a little bit of life to the build, of course. I like to also add some darker kind of buttons in around, especially if it's like a lighter stone. I don't want to go too crazy on these, but maybe on these corners, I can kind of add them in a little bit extra as well. Maybe not on the top, but I think kind of like this is going to help signify that kind of corner there. Oh my days. Come on, mate. I just made that door. Kind of like that, a few buttons here and there. Let me grab a lantern and just stick this sucker right in here. Oh, hey buddy, another copper. That is crazy. Now, another thing I kind of like to do, I know this isn't super popular, I like to stick lanterns on top of fences, particularly spruce fences. I think it looks nice. You can also stick these on the wall just like that and have them on top, or you could even have them hanging. Kind of like this, however you like, but I think it just adds a nice kind of detail, and me personally, I love the look of lanterns. I prefer it over all the other light sources. To me, it just feels real. You can do a lot with them. You can hang them, place them on things, and you know, they kind of just add a nice bit of ambience to the area. Now, the next thing I want to do is fix up the difference between the top and the bottom level, because obviously there's no kind of separator, which you can see I used to do, but I'm trying a new kind of build style out. Obviously you can see the top and bottom level is separated by this spruce log. We don't have that here. So we're going to go ahead and place in some signs just to kind of give a little bit of a barrier and make it a little bit more of a difference between the two levels. So I think that's okay. It's definitely not the best, but once we add details to the top, it's going to kind of make it look a lot better. Of course, I'm missing one sign. That is crazy, man. But thankfully, I have enough to make some more. And boom, 3. Okay, that's pretty sad. But just like that, a little detail, but it does help quite a bit. Oh, hey buddy. Now, one more thing I've been liking to do is adding in some oak trapdoors. I think it's such a nice kind of trapdoor, and I literally just chuck them in wherever I think there's a little bit of a weird spot. So if there's a little bit of an area that just looks strange, you can even put them on top of the leaves to kind of make it seem like it's supposed to be there. But obviously it does look better, but we still need to do a bit more. There's one more thing that I've been enjoying doing, but I do need to grab it from my storage once again. Oh my days. Now you can of course use whatever color you like, but I do prefer using white banners because this is such an easy color to kind of fit into pretty much anything. So just using banners to fill in those really awkward spots kind of help just to add that little bit of color as well. Also, do not sleep on the flower pot. They are absolutely fantastic. But a couple of these banners around is going to help kind of add those final touches just to wherever you think it kind of needs it. Like for example, I think there's just not enough color here. So chuck a banner in there. Maybe I'll also put an oak trapdoor, maybe upper block actually. Boom. Obviously just trying to make the area look a little bit more busy because it can really make the area look a lot nicer. So I'm going to go through and do that to the top level and kind of finish detailing the house and make it look a whole lot better. And we'll see what we can kind of put together using those kind of things that I've just shown you just now. So let's go ahead and get that started. And ladies and gentlemen, this is really starting to look pretty good, but we're not even done yet. We still need to decorate this entire area, which is really gonna make this place seem so much nicer. Now, I did just eat my last piece of steak, so I need to figure out a new food source. I also need to get some more fireworks. So let's quickly drop over here, grab up a little bit of sugarcane. That should be enough. And we're gonna go ahead and head back into our storage area. Now, I'm pretty sure I should have enough gunpowder. So let me find my gunpowder. Boom, 51, beautiful. And I also need to see if I can grab some carrots. Do I have any left? Oh, I do, 64, beautiful. I'm gonna grab 2 stacks because recently, if you've been watching my live streams, you would know I've switched to using golden carrots because they just seem so much nicer to use. So I'm gonna do the same thing on this hardcore world. I just feel like it's a little bit more convenient, and I mean, we do have some big farms, so it should be easier for us to kind of stay on top of that. Of course, the main thing is gonna be keeping up with our gold supply, but that should be okay. We do have quite a lot in here, and I mean, we can just go get some more nether gold if we need. But now we have a very nice food supply, and we've also got a brand new supply of fireworks that should last us a while. I really need to start getting around on horse because all I do is fly around, and I feel like it kind of ruins the purpose of this entire world. I mean, I can very easily traverse this entire thing on a horseback, but dude, it would just take so long. But I digress. Let's go ahead and quickly fix up my inventory a little bit more. My shulkers in here are completely full. I have like no room at all for anything, so this is not good. Gonna see if I can like combine some things. Okay, I managed to get a little bit more. I guess I don't really need the seeds or the rotten flesh, so I can try and fit everything else in here. Okay, you know what, that's gonna be bloody good, mate. This is gonna chuck the stuff I don't really want into the river. It's for the fish now. But wow, this place is really coming together. I really like it. I even made a nice little eating area for the workers up here. But now it's time to decorate this area. I want to add a nice statue in the middle. I've decided I want to try and build a copper golem statue. I think that would really suit the area nicely, but I need to try and figure out how on earth I'm going to do that. So I'll probably do that last. But I want to get a bunch of little carts, kind of like I've done here. I've created this kind of cart that's got some copper blocks on top of it. So I think that looks pretty cool, and it makes sense for this whole area. This is a copper industry making copper golems. So we need a lot of copper in here. We've also got a stack of it in there and a stack of barrels and hay. Don't ask me why. I just had it in my shulkers. So I figured I'd just chuck it in there just for a little bit of difference. But I do want to add like some boilers maybe along here, or maybe in this kind of corner here. I want to fix up this fence and of course create some copper golems. Hopefully they'll be able to walk around and kind of make the area seem more alive, but we're gonna have to get that figured out first. I also think it would be cool to have some trees like along these sides and the back to make the area seem a little bit more lively, but we're gonna do that kind of closer to the end. For now, I want to fix up that kind of entrance. The gate is not good at all. So I'm thinking of using some tuff. So let's grab up some tuff, maybe some polished blackstone. That could go well. And I think iron bars. So I want to see what I can kind of put together using these. So let's go to the very start. I guess this is the best place for us to start. And I mean, I don't love how far apart that is. So maybe we'll actually bring this forward a little bit. We'll go blackstone. Is there such thing as a blackstone stair? Is that a thing? Oh yeah. Sorry, blackstone wall. Yes. Okay. I've used this design before, but not using these blocks. So I've used stone brick. So I want to see how this looks with the blackstone and the tuff. Kind of like this, and then you go like that. The iron bars seem a little bit too bright, but it might work out. Let's see what we can come up with. So let's go boom, 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 right? Okay, hold on a minute. I think we could be onto a winner chicken dinner, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, what about a lantern on top? Is that going to kind of fix this bit? Oh dude, I think we could be onto something really nice here. So I reckon let's go up. We'll use polished and then chiseled polished. Oh my days, I can't even place them in. And then that's kind of how we're going to go up until it meets up here, right? Maybe we'll get a bit of texture using a bit of the tough bricks as well, just into the ground. That might be nice. I think it's definitely different. I don't know if I really love it, but I think at least for now, it's definitely going to do the job well. I mean, it is very dark, but that might look better once we get some more things in here because it is kind of like in the open with nothing around it. So that could be the issue. That's probably what's making it look so strange. Or maybe I'm just crazy and it doesn't look strange. Or maybe it's just a bad kind of palette. I guess we'll have to figure that out a little bit later. I'd love to know what you guys think. If you guys think this looks weird, then we can always change it. But I think we're going to get one right in the middle and then one right at the end. I think that should be sufficient. Maybe I'll go one more out actually. And then just connect these together. And yeah, I'm going to need some more walls once again. I'm really liking this area. I think this looks really nice. Definitely not our best build, but I think it's definitely up there. But if we have a look at that, I think that's okay. It's definitely different to what we've done before, but I think it could work, especially once we add some things in and around to make it less kind of in your face, because right now it stands out quite a lot. Now, in order to finish the sides, this is going to be a little bit awkward. It's going to be so small. So maybe I'll just go on the outside, but then I won't have like the black stone on the inside. It'll just connect up to that wall there. And oh my days, I need more walls once again. Goodness gracious. I'm just going to turn the rest of them into polished black walls. Don't forget the iron bars and beauty. Now there's one more bit we need to do, which is of course on the outside over here. What do we do here? Goodness me. Okay, let's do this, and I guess it can just feed into the wall here. There's no need for me to make another one. I think that's going to be weird if I use two blackstone here. Two blackstone pillar thingy-majiggies. Oh my days. Look at me messing things up. But like that, I think that's all right. We can have like a little garden back there too, just to fill that little space in. But I mean, I think it's okay. Could we make like a potential gate? Do I have some spruce? I've got spruce fences. Maybe I'll use like a spruce slab. What about trapdoors? Do I have any of them left? Or do I need to make some more? Okay, I've only got 6 spruce logs left, which kind of sucks, but I'm sure we can manage. Let's see what I can kind of put together over here. Maybe just like a barrier. Boom, boom, boom. Something like that. Very simple, but does that do the job? I feel like it does. Just kind of looks like, you know, it's blocked off, like it's a special entrance that you need permission to enter into. I don't know if we should have like that there, maybe even like a chiseled, maybe even a blackstone wall at the bottom and a fence in between maybe. Look, I don't know. Something like that to me seems okay, and we can just jump over. That's kind of just for aesthetic. I think that makes sense. We want to make sure that, you know, people can't just walk in here. This is, after all, a working zone. That's a OH&S issue. If people can just waltz in here when there's, you know, business going on. Especially if we're going to have some massive smokers or melters or boilers. I don't really know what they're called. They burn stuff. That's about all I know. But let's eat our first golden carrot, and oh my days, that is delicious. But look, overall, I think that blackstone fence does kind of fit the vibe. It's definitely dark, but that might be okay. That might be okay. Once we add a little bit more in, I think that could really look good. I do need to fix up that stone wall behind because that is kind of ugly as. So I guess before I get too distracted, let's quickly do that, or I'm definitely going to forget. But thankfully, we just got to dig a little bit of kind of shapes into it to make it a little bit more interesting. I mean, that's, you know, such a small change, but it definitely helped. 172,000%. Oh my days. Okay, that's definitely better. And it'll be a lot better too once we get some extra bit in there. Actually, I think it's a bit weird. It still seems too perfect. So let's just dig a little bit more out. Something like that, I think. Boom. Okay, I'm done. Nope, now I'm done. Okay, that'll be fine. Okay, I gotta stop obsessing over that. Of course, making sure to fill in this little bit that's been kind of exposed here with the dirt. Okay, I'm happy with that. That definitely takes the kind of weird look out of that spot. That was kind of annoying me, not gonna lie. Definitely gonna add some trees in here though, so that's gonna probably be covered anyway. I just really didn't like it. I'm gonna grab some stone brick. I'm gonna grab some extra short grass because I don't have a huge amount left. I'm pretty sure I'm out of barrels, so let's grab another stack. Maybe some vines could kind of look good in there for a little bit of green. Definitely need a couple more iron bars, I think. Okay, so I've got a couple different types of blocks here. I was hoping to find some more spruce logs, but unfortunately I couldn't. But we have spruce saplings and bone meal over at the build, so I can get some from there just to make some carts as well. Oh my days, we got some cheeky buggers here. Don't worry, easy pickings. Maybe not. I'm not making any risks, ladies and gentlemen. I'm getting absolutely picked apart, so I'm gonna have to do some kind of flyby. Let's try that. Oh, there's even more there now. Okay, let's be smart about this. We don't want to be dying. Not on day 929. There was a skeleton. Let's deal with him first. Here he is. Get out of here, mate. Creepers will be easy pickings. Bam. And spider and creeper. Okay, one more hit. He's down for. Beautiful. All right. Now, like I was saying, I kind of want to create some boilers. I'm thinking kind of like this big. I'm hoping that's not too big. I want like 3 maybe. Okay, hang on. Let me try and figure out the placing of this. I think I need to move these forward a bit. So like move this one to here, then maybe move this one. I think I'm going to move this one kind of just over here. It's only a slight adjustment, but I think that's going to help. I don't really love that placement, to be honest. I think what I'm going to do is try and tuck this one right into this corner. So like here, and then the next one kind of very close to that, just like this. I mean, it is certainly very close, but I think it might end up working out. Or maybe, let me try one more thing. Maybe I kind of go like this. So boom, boom, boom. And then I have the other one here. So then they're not facing the road. They're more facing their own way. I'll need to change this. Hold on a minute. Oh my days. Okay, move this over one more block. Look at me. I have no idea what I'm doing. So like there. And then I can like have this one right here. So they're kind of like, they're going to have their own section. So I can like add some coral blocks to create another path going down here. So then they've kind of got their own little space in there. Now, in terms of designing these things, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. I know I want to create some kind of thing. Like it looks like there's like molten copper in there using lava and the iron bars, but I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do that just yet. I'm thinking of doing something like this, right? Maybe I'll get some polished andesite in there too, just for that little bit of extra difference. Kind of like that maybe. Oh, I've forgotten one over here. Look at this. Oh my days. Boom. Now, do I go 2 or do I go 3? I feel like I need to go 3, to be honest with you. So let's get these up one more each. And then I reckon just kind of doing the exact same thing in the bottom to make it seem very circular. Then we can cap it off using some stone, maybe some slabs as well. And then I'm thinking just creating some kind of cap like this. I think it look okay. I think there's still more we can do to this. What if I get like some granite and brick? Okay, I don't have any granite. Goodness me. Okay, what if I use some tuff? Maybe that could work. And I want to create like a way for the copper to be kind of poured in, I guess. So kind of like just like a thingy-majiggy like this, right? And then it comes down kind of like that. Then in order to do this one, I would need to move this forward by 1. So then this one would kind of come down here. Look, it's certainly not perfect. I think once we get the lava in there, it could look better, but I'm not quite sure how else to do this. Let me grab 2 polished tough stairs and I'll kind of fix up this corner a bit like that. Does that look better? Yeah, that looks nice. Okay, then I do need to figure something out at the bottom. We can't just have that, but even if I just went like something like this, I think that could be nice. Yeah, look at that. Oh my days. Okay, I think this is looking good. Just need to get the lava for that and then that'll be fine. Then I can do the other one. Of course, add some grass in back here. Maybe a tree. No, a tree wouldn't make sense because these would be hot, right? Maybe just a little bit of leaves and stuff in there. That'll kind of help that out. But if I go ahead and I add in a couple stacks of copper and barrels behind this area here, finished up the second one and added in a bunch of trees, I really think this area could be looking good. I also want to add a statue in here, so we'll kind of try and figure that out as well. So instead of me just yapping, let's go ahead and get that done right now. Ladies and gentlemen, what a difference this area is looking like now. Oh my goodness. And we got a brand new morning, so it is kind of the perfect time to have a proper look at this. The sun glowing on this beautiful statue. I'm pretty surprised with how this turned out. I think I did a decent job. I'm not sure if I love it, especially because I had to use like 2 copper lightning rods at the top, but I think it's okay. If you guys have any suggestions on how I can make it look a bit better, please let me know. But I added some grass around it just because it looked too similar to the dirt, so the green kind of makes it stand out a bit more, and I think it's really nice. I added in the lava to these kind of smelters here, and I think it looks pretty awesome. And I added a nice eating area for the workers over here with a beautiful view of the surrounding world. Oh my days. But if we take a look out, we can see, man, this whole area has really come together. I'm pretty happy with the trees. I feel like I really started to get a grip on them. Obviously the first few took me probably 30 minutes to do like these 3 trees, but then the rest of them started moving pretty quickly because I realized that the trees don't have to be perfect. I was just literally placing in the leaves completely randomly at the end without much thought, because I figured, I mean, look at this tree. This this is definitely not perfect, but that's the point of a tree. You know, I guess they're supposed to be random and not perfect. So I kind of used that and I was able to get through them pretty quickly, but I think it kind of makes the area seem a lot nicer. I definitely want to start adding in more custom trees. It's just obviously using those schematics makes it a lot harder, but I think it turned out okay. And dude, this statue actually looks really nice with the sun kind of where it is now. The whole build looks really nice. Definitely a nice addition to this world. Obviously, that's only a small part of this entire area that I plan to completely revamp, but I think as we add more things into this kind of section, especially through here, and kind of connect this to this bit in here as well, I think it's really going to start looking incredible. And I'm excited to see kind of how this world is going to evolve over time, because we have just so much space to kind of build and expand this thing now. But I think it is only right that we go ahead and get ourselves a couple copper golems. So I actually used the rest of my smelted copper. That's why there's some jungle logs in there. I didn't have enough for the statue, but I think the jungle logs look okay. But I do have a bunch that I can smelt. Do I also have pumpkins? Yes, I do. How do we carve them? Do you just right click them with an axe? Surely it's not like that. What about a shear? Maybe it's a pair of shears. I feel like that definitely makes sense. But if I'm not mistaken, all I need is a copper block and a carved pumpkin. And then we can make ourselves a couple copper golem. I do think they might just walk away though, which is a little bit sad, but I mean, what can you do? But let's see. Yes, beautiful. Oh, and you get seeds from that too. That's really nice. Beautiful. Now, fingers crossed it is only a copper block and then we'll be good. Yeah, you can see I ended up using some jungle logs because I just ran out of copper and I didn't really want to smelt any because it would have taken a bit of time. And I didn't have that time. I wanted to finish that statue. But I think it might have worked out for the good because, I mean, it definitely gives a little bit of difference between this bottom line and the head, so I guess it's worked out well. And I definitely wasn't just grabbing a bunch of random blocks that I had in all of these shulker boxes. But let's have a look. Oh yeah, look at this guy. I don't know why his eyes are orange. All the pictures I looked at, he had black eyes. So he's cute though. But does he really look like the statue? I didn't know he had gold eyes. I thought he had black eyes. Oh my days. I guess it kind of looks like him, sort of. If you like squint your eyes and barely have them open, you can kind of imagine that that's a copper golem right there. But if I delete this chest, is he gonna disappear? No, beautiful. So I guess we'll get a couple of them walking around here because I guess it makes sense if this is the place that they're created. Look at this fella. Oh my days, he is adorable. I'm excited to use this to create a bunch of them for a project that I have coming up, but I'm going to keep that as a secret from you guys just for now. But let's go ahead and get a couple more of these fellas in here. Oh my days. I guess we've also technically got a new chest variant, which is nice. We don't have to use logs anymore. And it's a full double chest. Amazing. Oh, look at them all walking around. I need to find a way to stop them from just walking out because I think they can just walk out here, right? I'm not sure if they can fit through here, but I'm going to assume they can. Maybe if I grab some sweet berries, that could be a way to kind of keep it aesthetic, but stop them from just, you know, walking out on the job. No way, we do not want that. I'm pretty sure they will avoid the sweet berries. So let's chuck a couple through here. Oh, if they're only 1 block tall, they're just going to walk straight out the gate. So what can I do there? Do I have any chains remaining? I have some iron. So I'll make a couple chains and see if I can put them underneath. Oh, I made 9. I didn't really need 9, but whatever. So hopefully that will stop them from just walking out. We can only hope. I mean, I guess they could technically walk out through here. Maybe I'll chuck some more in here. I'm not sure if they're going to jump off the edge. I sure hope not. I can't imagine they would survive something like that. That's a big drop for them. Maybe into the water. Who knows? Let's just hope that they don't. But I have enough to make the last 3. And bang, bang, bang. Have a look at that. Look at my minions. Hell yeah, man. Dude, look at them all. That is incredible. Oh my days. I love them so much. I feel like I should change the eyes to glowstone. I feel like that would make sense, wouldn't it? I mean, look at their eyes. That's definitely glowstone. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. Should I do that? Now, of course, the interiors are still not done. I've covered this up for now. I plan to go through after day 1000 and do all of the interiors. But I want you guys to be able to join in on that project. So on my Discord, I'm going to be having a competition where you guys can have the chance to decorate some of the buildings, and then I'll grab the schematics for them and do it in the hardcore world. So if you want to be a part of that, make sure to join the Discord down below, which also has information for my SMP, which you can also to join if you want a nice friendly place to relax and build some cool stuff like this. But guys, if you made it to the end of the video, you're an absolute legend. I appreciate you so much. I really hope you like how this turned out. I think it looks absolutely phenomenal. Like, what a massive difference. I had no idea that it was going to turn out like this when I started building. I was a little bit nervous at the start because the area was a little bit of a weird shape, but I really think everything has kind of come together as good as like I think it could have. The trees look great. It's a nice kind of border. It kind of helps separate the mountain and make the mountain seem a lot less kind of in your face because there was a lot of gray there. The buildings have turned out nice, especially the roof and the new kind of design I've been going for. I think it kind of matched pretty nicely. And overall, I think we've done a pretty good job. The decorations on the outside aren't crazy, but you know, they're nice and kind of fill in that area. And the copper golem statue, oh my days, I love how this turned out. Oh, look at that. You can see the guy right next to it. I feel like that's pretty accurate, right? Surely. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching to the end. You're an absolute legend. Remember to join the live streams on Monday and Friday if you want to see some more content. But other than that, until next time, peace out.